Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. We're going to talk about collective convo. We're talking about detachment, the art of detachment, and letting go. As you're on your path, as you start coming into consciousness, as you're doing all of this work, even if you're not doing all of this work and you're just like in a place where you're ready to let go of something that is no longer serving you, whether that's people, behaviors, habits, location, whatever, it doesn't matter. One thing to do is when you are working with the universe or whatever it is you believe in to support you in these changes that you're making, right? Because yeah, it's important to, believe in something, even if it's just your higher self. The art of detachment is super important. And I was given this as a topic for today, and it actually aligns with the Divine Feminine. I was almost done reading this, and then my dog would not shut the fuck up. So I'm going to retape it, but I figured my energy's all over the place, so I wanted to respect the Divine Feminine energy. But yeah, it is aligned with this message of detachment. We're doing Kali, and her affirmations are, I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. So when you step into that truth, we'll do a different video for that. But when you step into that truth, a lot of people are either not going to want you to, right? We talked about this. We talked about what it's like to be a black sheep, be different, be on a path that others aren't. The way that people are going to try to get you to come back to what they're doing, right? The crabs in the barrel. And what's really important is to trust yourself, trust your path, trust what is going on, trust the decisions that you're making, trust that if relationships fall away, whether either by you ending them or they just organically fall apart, right? It takes two people to communicate. If that communication stops, if you're the one that's always reaching out and you start to notice that and you're like, let me test this, and the relationship ends because without you there wasn't energy, there wasn't effort. That's totally legit. Anyway, detachment is an art form, I think, because we've been so conditioned within capitalism and consumerism to really grasp physical things. We talked about this a little bit yesterday in the collective convo of, what was that one about? Oh, lack mentality. So detachment may seem like it is a lack practice, like a practice within lack, because you're detaching, right? Which makes you feel like a subtraction of some sort. But it's actually the opposite, because whatever you're detaching from, you already know isn't giving you that life. So it's actually just making room for what is aligned for you, what is being put in your path to better you, to let you stand in your own power and whatnot. We talked about this too with manifesting. When you are putting desires or changes that you want to make out into the universe for support, and then you're following through within your, human vessel, with that trust of the universe, whatever it is you believe in, right? Detachment is going to allow the universe to really show up, right? I'm going to use an example. This is a pretty big example. When we moved up to this area from where we were at the RV park, we moved onto our own land. And it was like, I was in this place of like, I just want to be on my own land. I want to be able to survive, right? Well, I don't want to be around other people. I really did have goals of being on the land. Now, when we got there, it was fucking hard as fuck. My car, the way I drive, was not conducive to country roads. Also not having running water, or like our solar worked, but it wasn't as solid as I had hoped it would be, and it was a lot more labor. So anyway, all that to say is the universe surprised me with this house that we're currently living in. And one of the reasons I wanted to move off grid was to alleviate bills, right? Because at the RV park, we were given, what, 20 feet of, 20 feet wide space. We couldn't do anything. I had acquired a lot at that RV park. I was paying for both RVs. One was in storage and one we were paying rent. So my bills were just astronomical for like not a lot, right? So the universe, I've been manifesting a home to call our own since Niall was in me, like when I was pregnant. That sounded awkward. Anyway, and a place or a home to call our own, right? And then this just kind of landed in our lap. And I think that's the form of detachment, because even when this was presented as a possible outcome, my ego got in the way for a minute, because I was like, no, like, I don't want that. I want to build my homestead up. I want to be doing this on the land. But like, my car was not, it was so fucking stressful. I kept hurting myself. It was just too much labor, right? Too much labor, too much mothering out in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't everything that I know it will be in the future, because I will be more prepared, right? But sometimes you have to take a motherfucking leap of faith. And if you take a leap of faith, then something else better is going to come into you. Why do I keep sounding sexual? Okay, come to you. Anyway, so detachment. I detached from, I was holding on to what I have planned for my homestead so tightly that I almost detrimented myself to being stuck out there, right? And since then, since we got into this house, we've been teaching at the college. We're doing this community art space. We're making friends. My business has insurance, and we're not utilizing our space in town to the most, but this is kind of a weird town to do so. So I'm still navigating all of that, but still trying to figure this shit out. It's so fucking hard. Anyway, all that to say is sometimes when you detach, right, it took someone else saying that's a blessing, you should do it, because I was like, I don't know if that's what I want, but like, I literally, and it was sight unseen. I didn't know what the house looked like, but he told me, I've got a house in town, for this amount of money. And I'm like, what about all my animals, right? Because I have a ridiculous amount of animals. And he's like, I don't care what you have in there. And I was like, dude, like, the corporate housing situation would never, ever allow that, right? So I accepted it, I was like, all right, cool. We'll be moving in this week. And he was like, right on. So we came into town, and, I made a few trips trying to get everybody here. We had one cat stay behind. We had to go back a couple times and go get her. But all that to say is the art of detachment within manifesting, within your own spiritual journey, is a tool. It's a tool for you to get out of your own way so the universe can give you what you actually deserve, right? And now that we've been here, I know we deserve better than this too, right? But like 2 years ago, this was a godsend, and it still is. I'm grateful to be here. But I also know at this point, I've grown a lot in the past 2 years. I know what I deserve, right? And I deserve everything that I want. I desire. I deserve peace. But again, we have to practice detachment, right? Because I know what I want, but the universe also knows things we don't know, right? God, whatever it is you believe. Like, I really want to build up my homestead, but it feels like it might not be the right time with all these bombs flying everywhere, And that's the thing, is like, you got to get out of your own way. So maybe the timing isn't right. Trusting in divine timing can be very hard for us. as humans, especially because we are in consumerism, right? So we've been conditioned to convenience. You know, we have convenience and immediacy, right? I'm losing my train of thought. The art of detachment. Letting go of what no longer serves you. And I think we talked about that a little bit in the lack mentality. I said, like, if you're feeling like shit, stop doing shit that's making you feel like shit. Stop being around people. Stop doing the things that make you feel like shit. And I couldn't get on here and say that shit until I stopped doing that, right? Because I had like some imposter syndrome. But I quit everything that I loved. That was so bad for me. And I just keep having to do it. It's like every time I pick up a new addiction, like Oreos or whatever, my addictions are a lot less super harmful. But that's the art of detachment. And I think if you're having struggles with letting go of people or behaviors or locations or whatever, maybe just settle into a space of just understanding what it is you're seeking, understanding what you want, and allow yourself to see how many ways there are to get to that point, right? Because there's not just one. And I tell Niall this all the time, as a mother. There are multiple solutions to every single problem, you know? And if you haven't watched the change videos, if change is something you struggle with, consider this just a pivot, right? Because you can't get to where you're going by doing the same thing if you haven't gotten there yet. You know what I mean? It's like that insanity quote, you know, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is going to make you go motherfucking crazy. Been there, done that. You don't want to go crazy. It's not that fun. I mean, you get a little bit of sympathy, but other than that, it's anyway. So let go if you want. I'm gonna go ahead and get this done. Everyone has shut the fuck up over here. So I'm gonna make another video doing the divine feminine, and it's gonna be essentially the same message, but from a higher being, someone you can call on, a deity, if you need that support in detaching and letting go. Don't get in your own way. Ultimately, you know what you want, you know how to get there. And like, part of my homestead was having something in town, so we are building the town stuff up first. And you know what, I've even gotten to a space in this past 2 years where I'm like, if it's not here, it'll be somewhere else. I'm giving my trust to the universe, right? And I'm getting that itch or that feeling that something's coming that is not really exactly what I have been doing for the past few years, and just kind of like, I feel like I'm gonna have a tower moment soon, but I know it's gonna be it's not gonna be like my past tower moments. It's gonna be bigger and better, more balanced. But anyway, let go of what no longer serves you. And the very first step that is identifying that. And once you identify it, be honest with yourself about letting go. I mean, you're gonna grieve, you know. I've made videos about grieving in these processes, grieving relationships, especially if you have to let go of your family. It's not easy. But if you know you're meant for something different, you gotta let go of what's holding you back in order to get there. Like a slingshot. Right? Alright, y'all. Have a good one.